Okay, so how we doing? Can anyone hear me? If you can hear me, just put a comment in the chat. Put a hello or hi. Let me know where you're joining from. Put it in the chat if you can hear me. If you can see me and you can hear me, put it in the chat. Just put your location, where you're joining from. We have started, not we are starting. We have started already. Okay, my name is Wale Adebayo. First of all, I am the founder of KerlHive. Let's just do a quick housekeeping here while we wait for other persons to join us. But if you can hear me, please put your location in the chat where you're seeing me and watching me from. Yes, I can hear and see you from Boston. Okay, nice, amazing. Okay, great. Empower our wealth. Amazing. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you. So just quick housekeeping. So my name is Wale Adebayo. I am the founder of KerlHive, and I will be leading this conversation with you this morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you're joining from. Okay, so in essence, the conversation today is going to be centered around why it's really hard for some caregivers to find their own clients, to be hired directly by families working as a private caregiver. Why is it very hard? So first, usually when I have live sections like this, I like my sections to be very, very interactive. So it's going to be you and I having a conversation. So I need you to do two things, two very important things. First, eliminate any form of distractions around you, like literally any form of distractions around you. So we have just a couple of minutes for this conversation, and this is a really, really serious conversation in the next few minutes or couple of minutes. So you really want to invest this time very well, right? Because what I'm going to share with you, or the conversation we're going to have, it's going to be really, really a game changer for you, right? So first of all, eliminate any form of distraction right now, right? And then the number two thing you want to do is stay, be here, be present, right? Be present. And I need you also, in addition to that, I need you to interact with me. So when I ask questions, the best way we will both enjoy this conversation and get the best value out of this is your response, right? If I ask you a question and I want a response, please put it in the chat so I can read your comments or your feedback. Oh, I'm from Zimbabwe. Fantastic. From Zim. Amazing. Okay. How is Harare today? Harare, right? I hope I pronounced that right. Nice to have you all the way from Zimbabwe. Amazing. Amazing country. Beautiful. Okay. So let's get into the conversation. So, first of all, I'd like to clarify um, what we're doing here today. We're going to do two things. First, we're going to unravel the secrets that agencies don't want you to know. Um, oh, sorry, no, that's the second. That's the second thing we're doing. We're doing three things actually. So the first thing is we're going to discuss and unravel why it is hard for some caregivers to find their own clients, right? Their own family that will hire them directly, right? And then number two, we are going to unravel the secrets of getting your own clients, what agencies don't want you to know, what the agencies, your employers don't want you to know, how, which is how they are getting their own clients, right? The exact thing they are doing to get their own clients, and what other caregivers are doing to get their own clients, and how you can start getting your own clients, right? And then number three, I have an invitation for those who would stay towards the end of this conversation, which would last for about 20, 25, max of 30 minutes or thereabout, or a little bit more than 30 minutes, but just within that range. For those who will stay to the end, if you stay to the end, I have an invitation for you. So if you get what I just said correctly, if you get what I said, the three things was I said we're going to do. Number one, I said we're going to discuss why is it hard. We're going to unravel why it is hard for some caregivers to find their own families who hire them directly, right? And then secondly, what the agencies don't want you to know, which is how you can get your own clients. And then thirdly, um, I have an invitation for you. So if you get these three things clearly that I just said, please put in the chat invitation. Just write invitation in the chat. If you heard me clearly with what I just said, write invitation in the chat. Let me be sure that you heard me. Okay, so that being said, let's get into the first part. So first, before starting, I'd like to clarify, I'd like to know who I'm speaking with, right? So I want to know what area of care are you specialized in? Is your area of specialty in care? Put it in the chat as well. Invitation, thank you very much. I see that. Uh, what area of care are you specialized in? Because that's the foundation. That is the foundation. Now, I'm asking because it will help me tailor this conversation to the specific area where you're specialized at. So if you can hear me, you can see me, put it in the chat. What area of care are you specialized in? Like I said, this is going to be uh, interaction, right? Even though you can't, I can't physically see you, but you can see me and you can hear me. So from your end, you're going to have to, relate with me by commenting on the chat. So tell me, what area of care are you specialized in? And by the way, there's a little bit of delay. So when you send your comment and when I see it, there's just a little bit of delay, couple of seconds. Okay, senior non-medical companion care. Okay, amazing. Senior non-medical. Okay. And you're from Houston. Okay, you're from Boston rather, not Houston. Okay, if you were from the UK, then the area of care you're focused on will be non-CQC, but it's okay. Those from UK understand what I'm saying. So non-medical, beautiful, amazing. So which means you provide care like maybe meal preparation, some house shop, doing some house chores, working, all of those personal, in Canada it's called personal support workers. So you provide literally personal support assistance. As in just assisting with dinner, working, exactly, yes, conversation, exactly, yes. Yes, non-medical, beautiful, amazing. Great, okay, good. So we're on the same page. Fantastic. I just wanted that to be clear. So now, if that is your area of care, I mean, I'm going to, what's the word now? What's the word? Oh my God. I'm going to streamline, right? Streamline is not the word I'm looking for, but that's the easiest, that's the fastest word I can find right now. I'm going to streamline this conversation to you because you're the one responding to me right now, right? From Boston. By the way, your name is Empowered and Worth. Empowered and Worth. I wish you could tell me your name so I can literally mention your name, so I know who exactly I'm talking to, but it's okay. When other persons join, they'll follow along. So now, dementia care. Oh, okay, fantastic, beautiful dementia care. Charlotte says she is specialized in dementia care. Amazing. It's amazing knowing how many people are really into dementia care, really. I mean, that's one of the very common issues with elderly people, old age, the effects of, growing old. And all of us, we're going to get to that. My name is Ezin. Ezin. Okay, nice. I hope, or easy. Okay, I hope I pronounced that correctly. But if I don't, easy. Easy. Okay, beautiful. So let's get into the conversation, guys. Okay, now, the truth is this. There are families out there who are right now looking for you. And I say this with full confidence because I have spoken to families and I have spoken to caregivers who are crushing it. I've spoken to both sides. As a matter of fact, today I spoke with someone reached out to me from Chicago and she was like, I see what you guys are doing. You're helping caregivers put themselves out there so that families can hire them. I was like, yeah, that's what we do. We're not an agency, right? But we just empower caregivers so that they can get hired directly by families. And she was like, she sent me a chat and she was like, but I've been looking for caregivers for weeks now and I can't find any in my area. I'm like, hold on a minute. What did you just say? She was like, yeah, for weeks I've been looking for a caregiver in my area to take care of my husband. And I was like, hold on, what part where do you live? She said she lives in Chicago. I was like, really? What part of Chicago? And then she mentioned the name. I'm not going to mention it, right? And then she mentioned it. I'm like, this confirms it. There are literally families who are looking for you right now, and they're out there, and they're out there, but they can't find you, which we're going to talk about. But the point here I just want to put out first is if you think that there are no jobs out there, there are no families who are currently hiring, that is not true. It is not true 100%, because research shows that in every 5 houses, there's at least one house that needs care, that needs a caregiver. In every 5 houses on the streets, there's one family that needs a caregiver because we have elderly people. I mean, as long as there are humans living there, the family needs care. They need a caregiver. So let's move on. Where the problem is not that there is no family who are willing to hire. There are a lot of families who are looking for caregivers. But the real problem is that why it is hard for you is that you're not findable. They can't find you. And this is the foundation of the problem. They can't find you. You're invisible. I know you're going to tell me right now that you have social media, you post on your Facebook accounts and all of that. You probably have a profile on care.com or elderlycare.com. You have your profile in all of these places set up. But I'll tell you for a fact, still they can't find you. You are unfindable. You are invisible to them, especially in your local area. The problem is not with the families, the problem is with you. You are not findable. So let's talk about the issue about findable, and then how do you solve the issue of being findable? We're going to work on that, right? That's basically where our conversation is going to be centered around. And if you do have a question while I am speaking, please feel free to put it on the chat, right? If you need clarification on anything, please feel free to put it on the chat. I would get to it. Okay, great. So let's move on. So now the question is, you're not findable, and how? So the question is, how can you be findable, or what does being findable means? Being findable means that they can't see you. They're looking for you, like the lady who reached out to me earlier today, right? She said she's been looking for caregivers for weeks, not days, weeks. And she doesn't seem to find a caregiver that lives within an environment. And she lives in Chicago. I wouldn't mention exactly where she lives in Chicago for anyway. So the question is, so how do you become findable? How can they see you? I know you have a Facebook profile, which is beautiful. You probably have a profile on care.com, which is amazing as well. But is that what it takes to be findable? Really? Is that how, do you honestly think that's how your agencies get their client? No, it's not. And I'm going to tell you how agencies get their client, because that's why we're having this conversation. All right. Now, first of all, let me clarify something. There are the caregivers who I call intentional and structured caregivers. And the caregivers who are unintentional and unstructured. Now, the intentional and structured caregiver approach client acquisition deliberately, intentionally, because they know that for there to be a result, there has to be an input. There is always a cause that creates an effect. The intentional and structured caregiver understand the mindset and understand and have the mindset that if I want to get results, then I have to do something. If I want to be hired by family, then I have to be deliberate about a certain level of action that will make me get hired by a family, especially if I want to get hired as quick as possible and for my own rate, the rate I want to be paid, not the rate every other caregivers are asking to be paid, the rate I want to be paid. So if you watch the intro video that we were playing before we started this section, there are caregivers who are earning premium, who are being paid premium. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I spoke with a caregiver who told me that she's being paid $300 per day as a live-in caregiver. I'll say that again, just in case you didn't hear me. $300 per day as a live-in caregiver. I spoke with her. And then she further shared a testimony with me of a friend who is being paid $48 an hour as a caregiver serving a family. So the question is not that you cannot be paid premium. The question is that you are not just being intentional about what you want and who you want to work with. And even if you're intentional about it, you're not being structured. Because, see, if you want to get a certain kind of result, you have to act in a certain kind of way, not haphazardly. It has to be deliberate. So my first question to you today, because we're going to do a lot of mind shift here. My first question to you today is, what result do you want to have? What I mean by result, let's break down what I mean by result. First, what kind of family do you want to work with? So there are basically two kinds of family. In the society chooses to say there are three classes of families: the lower class, middle class, and upper class. I don't want to go by that, right? I'll rather just categorize these classes of family into two categories. The first category is the family who want to pay the regular price. They don't really care about the value you're bringing. They don't talk value, they talk about price. So they are going for the cheapest price possible, the cheapest caregiver possible. So they are looking for, and that is based on their income level, which is okay, which is fine, completely okay, right? So they're looking for the caregiver who they can pay $10 an hour, $11.50 an hour. That's who they are looking for, right? Because that's what they can afford, right? But there's this other category of families who are ready to pay, who are not concerned about the rates. They are concerned about the value this caregiver will bring to the table, will help us achieve the value this caregiver. So whatever amount your rate is not a problem to them. They can afford it, but their concern, their qualification for hiring you is, what value are you bringing? The value you're bringing, is it aligned with the value that we want to achieve from your care? You see, there are these two kinds of family who thinks differently. So my question to you is, which of this family do you want to serve? You see, the intentional, I'll tell you for free, this is some of the secrets I'm telling you right now. The intentional and structured caregiver deliberately choose the family who pays premium. There are people who are making $20,000 a month from being a private caregiver because they choose to serve the family that pays premium, not the family that pays the cheapest. Because the family who pays premium understands professionalism, understands value, understands structure, understands terms, conditions, and all of those stuff. The other family, they don't really care about those stuff. They just want you, just come in and take care of our loved one. Just do the job. And from personal experience, I'll tell you this. From personal experience, the family that pays the cheapest will give you more problem than the one that pays premium. The one who pays premium will give you less problem. They just want you to report, okay, give us updates, what's going on. You need any, as a matter of fact, they will take care of your meal, they'll take care of your accommodation, even provide you transportation. They'll make you comfortable so that you can do the job, because their mindset and understanding is, if they can provide everything you need and make you comfortable, then you will be able to provide sufficient care assistance support to their loved one. So the money is not a problem. There are two categories of people who spend money to save time and save resources. And they are the ones who spend resources just to save money. Who do you want to work with? This is the first distinct secret that the ones who are crushing it are using and the ones who are struggling are not using. You have to be intentional about which family I want to serve. Very intentional. Because there's no magic anywhere. If you're not intentional about it, you're not going to get intentional results. I love the one who values the service that I bring. Beautiful. Those are the ones who will pay you premium. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So that's number one for you to note. That's number one for you to know. What family do you want to work with? Right? You have to be intentional about it. And they are out there looking for you, really. But let's move on to the next thing. So the question is, how do you win these families? If they are out there, you identify the family you want to work with, the ones who pay premium that you want to work with, beautiful. Okay, but the question is, how do you win them? How do you win them? So I'll tell you how you can win them. The ones who pay premium are not after your work experience. They are not after how many years of experience you have on the job. They are not after your certifications. They're after just one thing, the value. That's the major thing. I mean, all the other things count, but the main thing for them is the value, the outcome, nothing else. Because your certification, your years of experience, and all of that, that's just the process that creates the outcome. What is the outcome? Can you articulate the outcome? So if I ask you right now, Easy or Charlotte, if I ask you in a very simple way and say, what is the outcome that your care produces? Can you tell me in a very simple, short sentence? What is the outcome that your care produces? So when you render your service over a period of time, depending on the contract duration, what is the outcome? Can you clearly tell me? You see, this is what we call the care promise. The intentional and structured caregiver have what we call care promise. And the care promise is built based on our area of specialty. So, like every caregiver, yes, you have an area of specialty, but in your area of specialty, what is your care promise? What is that outcome that you are promising your clients that they are going to get if they hire you? What is your care promise? Now, remember, the whole of this is you being visible, you being findable to them, right? So that's where we're headed. Now, but before you can become findable, you have to put these things in place, because the moment you become findable, these are what you need to communicate with the families, right? And these are the things that the intentional and structured caregiver who is crushing it, these are the things they are doing behind the scene that you don't know, that you don't see, and they won't tell you. And these agencies would not even tell you. These are the little secret that they are inventing or they are executing behind the scene that they won't come out and tell you. The outcome will be the outcome will be a very well taken care of a family member. Okay, that's fine, but it can be better, more specific, and I can tell you how to write your how to know what your care promise is, because there's a structural way to know what it is based on your area of specialty. It's not a statement that you come up with randomly. There's an intentional way to know what your care promise is based on your area of specialty, right? So it's not an idea you just formulate, because you actually have to produce and deliver that care promise. So it's not about just saying it, you have to deliver it. As a matter of fact, that is what the contract is based on. That is why they will want to pay you $35, $40 an hour, because of your care promise. It is the heart of your negotiation power for the intentional and structured caregiver. Let's move on. Okay. So now, how do you become visible? Let's assume you know the family you want to work with, you have your care promise intact, then um, I, you know the family you want to work with, and then you have your care promise intact. Then what's the next thing? I want to work with good results after a period of time. Okay, beautiful. So now, what is the next thing you need to do now? I will not elude the aspect of having a very good social media profile, even more than having a profile on care.com, and I'll tell you why. You see, many caregivers trivialize the power of Facebook profile. They trivialize the power of Facebook profile. The unstructured and unintentional caregiver takes a Facebook profile as just Facebook profile, you know, not serious about it. The intentional and structured caregiver knows that our Facebook profile is our number one marketing asset that does the work of marketing and sales on our behalf, even while she's asleep. She knows it. She knows that is such a powerful tool that can help her get clients even while she is asleep. So she does what we call optimization of her profile intentionally. Let me explain what optimization means. So she takes her Facebook profile. I'm pretty sure you have a Facebook profile if you as you're watching this. She takes her Facebook profile and then she updates her bio about what she does. If she has a website, most caregivers probably don't have a website working independently, which is very okay. But there's a way you can create a profile with digital tool now. You can create just a simple one-page profile that you can take as your website, you know, for free. You can do it for free. You don't need to pay anything to do it, right? You just do it. And that profile is where they read about you, where they read extensively about your background, the value you bring to the table, your care promise and everything. And she takes that link and puts it on her Facebook profile. But she doesn't stop there. Some people just do this and they stop there. No, she goes beyond that. The intentional and structured caregiver goes beyond that. Remember, the key principle here is if there is a particular result that you want to achieve, there is a process, there's a particular action you need to take that will produce that result. Just know that at the back of your mind. Because what I'm sharing with you, right, is beyond the limit. It's beyond the limit. So there are caregivers who will see this, who will take what I'm saying and say, you're saying nonsense, which is okay, which is completely fine. But if you check the results they are getting, it's nothing compared to what the premium caregiver is getting. Okay, so they go beyond that and then they start posting content at least once a week about what they do and share stories of clients they've worked with, right? And even if they've not worked with clients, they come up with something, value information about their area of specialty, at least post once a week. It could be in video form. I would recommend you do video form. Pick up your phone, record a 30 seconds or 60 seconds video, or maybe 1 minute, 30 seconds, it's okay, right? 90 seconds video and post it. If you're not comfortable with doing video, it's okay. Just write it out like, you know, a short test, a short article, something, not article is long, just a short test, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, and post it. If you can do this at least once a week, at least once a week. Some caregivers are intentional enough to like, you know what, I'm going to post twice, 3 times a week. Intentionally sharing about what they do. And I'll tell you the secret to this. I'll tell you the effect of this. Watch. In our current time right now, we are not in the era of social media anymore. No, we are not in the era of social media anymore. We are in the era of interest media. I'll explain the difference. You see, social media is when You post content and only the people who knows you and who follows you will see your content. That's the era of social media, right? And you know what I'm talking about. That's when the issue about followers was so important. If you have a large number of followers, then it means you have people who knows you and who will see your content. But we've moved away from that. So where are we right now? We are in the era of interest media. When you post content, the algorithm takes your content and show it to people who are interested, who have shown interest in the area that you're talking about. So recently, I went on TikTok, for example, because all of the social media platforms right now are not just social media platforms anymore. They have become search engines, especially with the advent of AI. All of these social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of them are now becoming search engines, not just social media, which is why it has moved from social media to interest media, because now people go on these social media platforms, right? Go on these platforms and type how to do this. Where can I find caregiver in Houston? Where can I find caregiver in Ontario? How to find caregivers in Ontario. Once they type this on the search bar on the platform, guess what happens? The platform automatically starts showing them content, both video and written content, of people they don't even know about, that they don't follow, they've never heard about. But those people who have posted content regarding what they are searching for. And it could just be that in their content, they just mentioned the location, Ontario, Houston, Dallas, right? Or they mentioned the case that this client is looking to hire a caregiver for, dementia, elderly care, whatever it is. So, which means that when you are deliberate about posting content on your social media, structurally, the algorithm favors you, especially when you're consistent. The algorithm favors you. So the families who are out there looking for you, when they come on these social media platforms, the algorithm takes your content and show it to them. And guess what? The algorithm is more than happy to take your content and show it to people. Why? Why would the algorithm do that? Because the algorithm wants people to spend more time on the platform. Why do the algorithm wants people to spend more time on the platform? Because the only way Mark Zuckerberg, Meta AI, and Meta makes his money, and every other social media platform makes their money, is when they show ads to people. And they can only show ads to people if there are people to see the ads. So they want people to stay on the app so that they can show ads, right? And if your content will help them stay on the platform by reading what you've posted or watching the video you posted, then they will push your content to show those people. So the algorithm wants you to post content about what you do, about your business, so that they can take this content and show it to the right people for you free of charge. This is how you become findable. Passively, well, maybe not 100% passively, because you have to still create the content. So would you recommend starting a new Facebook page, or just use the one we already have? You can use the one you already have, and you can choose to create. So what I would recommend is this. If you are not comfortable using your own personal Facebook page that you currently have right now, right? Your current Facebook profile. If you're not comfortable using it, then you can create a page, right? A page, not a profile. You can create a page only for your business as a private caregiver and use that strictly for your stuff. But what I would recommend you do is, people want to connect with you not because you're a business. They want to connect with you because you're real. So I would recommend you do it hybrid. Use your personal profile, share stuff about yourself, and also share stuff about your business, what you do. So it gives two perspective of you. Your real side as an individual, and then your other side as a caregiver that provides, professional services. Families will connect with you more that way than just talking about your services and all of that alone. It shows you're real, because people don't buy because you're a business. They buy because they can emotionally connect with you, because they like you. So the aspect of you being who you are makes them like you, but they are convinced logically by the value you bring to the table, which is the professional side of you. Make sense? Great. Makes sense. Great. Are you getting value? Is this session making sense to you guys? These are some of the things agencies don't want you to know. Let's move on. So that's for the profile. So the profile is very important. Having a Facebook profile is so important. Very, very important. I would not stop. If I were you, I would not stop on Facebook profile only. I would also have two more profiles, one on LinkedIn and another one on TikTok. Trust me, the intentional caregiver is on LinkedIn and she's also on TikTok, in addition to Facebook. She's on LinkedIn. Let me tell you this. Okay, so I'll let the secret out. The families that pays premium, they're actually on LinkedIn. I'll say that again, just in case you did not hear me. The family who pays premium in your city, where you are right now, I don't care where you are, but where you are right now, the families that pays premium, they're on LinkedIn. They are the CEOs, the founders of businesses, of enterprises. They are so busy with their work, with the businesses they are building, the multi-million-dollar businesses that they are building, and they have parents that needs care at home. So they are ready to spend any amount on you to take care of their parents or their loved one, so that they can have peace of mind and focus on the business and their jobs that they are doing. Those are the professionals. They are on LinkedIn. You see what I just told you right now? This secret I just gave you, agencies would not want to tell you. The money, the premium rate you want to be paid, the people who will pay you that are on LinkedIn. I'm not saying they're not on Facebook. I'm not saying they're not on TikTok. But the people who really have the money to pay and they don't care how much your rate is, they are so busy with their work that everything they are running to LinkedIn, everything that they're doing, right, is focused on their work. And listen, LinkedIn is not a social media. It's not just an interesting media. LinkedIn is a place of work. LinkedIn is a place of work. It's part of their job. So every day they are also on LinkedIn because they connect with their partners, business partners that they are doing business with, doing deals and all of it. They connect and communicate with them on LinkedIn. So they are always on LinkedIn every day. So while they are on LinkedIn and you are consistently making your posts and you're browsing on LinkedIn, and then they come across your post. And they'll be like, hold on, I need this person. And then they click on your profile. And then because you've been posting content consistently, and then they're reading everything you've been talking about. And it makes sense to them because what you're talking about and your area of specialty is exactly the area they need someone, is exactly the area that their loved one at home needs help with. And they'll be like, where have you been all this while? I've been looking for you. And guess what happened next? They sent you a DM on LinkedIn. And then the next thing is they book a call with you. And the next thing is Send your details. If you sleep on LinkedIn, you're going to miss out with the families that pays premium. If you sleep on LinkedIn, you're going to miss out with the families that pays premium. Remember, see, I told you, the intentional, see, the people, the caregivers who are crushing it are the ones who are intentional about this. They are very intentional, because this is not just a random stuff. If you're taking caregiving as a random stuff, this section is not for you, please. You can literally right now, for real, politely exit, please. The caregivers who are crushing it, who really want to build a financial free life from this, the people, the caregivers who want to build a financially free life from this are very intentional about it. They are not the caregivers who are thinking, oh, I just need to be paid $10 so I can just get by with groceries today. No, they are the caregivers who are thinking. They are thinking huge. They are thinking long term. They are thinking financial freedom. They are thinking investing in real estate. And for them, working independently is the first step, or the second step, or the next step, or their strategy for getting that finance that they need to invest in the huge businesses that they want to invest in for long-term financial freedom. So they're not looking at, how do I make $3,000 in a month from this? They're looking at, how do I make $15,000? How do I make $10,000 a month? How do I make $20,000 from this? That's how they are thinking. So because they are thinking that way, they are very intentional about what means, what strategy, what actions, what are the actions, because there are caregivers who are making $10,000 a month from this. They're making 20K from this. I know that sounds crazy, like how it's not possible. See, when it comes to this life, nothing is impossible. Mandela said something. He said, it always seems impossible until someone does it. It never crossed my mind. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understand. I trust me, I understand. And I won't blame you. You know why I won't blame you? Because you are not taught these things in your trainings. As a caregiver, what they teach you guys to do is to perform the job. They don't teach you the business part of it, how to get clients. They don't teach you that. They just teach you how to perform the job. And the issue with that is it keeps you broke. It keeps you being used by the systems, the agencies. The agencies know the truth, but they're not going to tell you, like I'm telling you right now, because they need you to remain in their system so they can keep using you for their own benefits. So the agency gets paid $33 an hour, but they give you $18 an hour because they have to make money. So what are they doing? They are using leverage. They are leveraging your time, your energy, your skill, your experience to make money. Someone out there is leveraging your time, your experience, your knowledge, your energy to make money for themselves. So you become the two. You become the two. My responsibility, our responsibility in KerlHive is to change that narrative. You deserve to be paid what you're worth. You deserve to be paid for your time, your energy, your skill, and the value you bring to the table to families. And the way we want to help you do that is by you being intentional and operate structurally, not just like every other caregiver. Okay, so let's start wrapping this up now. Is this making sense? If you're getting value from this, just put in the chat. If you've learned at least one thing, if you've gotten at least one value, If you've not gotten anything, if it's not making any sense to you, just put it in the chat as well. Say, this is not making sense. I honestly will apologize for real. I will apologize for wasting your time. But if it's making sense to you, at least if you've learned at least one thing, let me know in the chat. Okay, this is amazing. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the feedback. Okay, let's start wrapping this up. Now, remember where we're coming from. You need to become findable. You need to be seen so that you can get hired, right? And I've shared some secrets with you, but I'm going to share one or two more secrets with you, and then I'll get to the last part of inviting you into something that would really tremendously help you. Okay, let's move on. It's never seemed impossible until someone does it. Powerful there. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's a statement from Mandela of blessed memory, from South Africa. He said that I didn't come up with that. That's Mandela. Okay, great. So let's move on. There's one more thing you can still do to get hired by families. Premium that pays premium. By families that pays premium. Now, I'll tell you this. My honest recommendation to you is please go for the families who are ready to pay premium. See, in every society, like I said earlier, in every society, there are always these two categories of families. The families who are ready to pay premium and the families who are ready to pay the cheapest. You will always find these two categories of people because life is about duality. Up and down, front and back, right and left, black and white. Life is about duality. If you find positive in that same spot, you will find negative. If you find negative somewhere, in that same spot, you will find positive. So if there are families who are paying cheap, in that same city, in that same location, there are families who are ready to pay premium. Just know this. This is fact. So do not choose the family that pays cheap. I am recommending to you, and you don't have to take my advice or my recommendation. I am recommending to you that if you want to be financially free, if you want to earn from this, focus on the family that pays premium. But to be able to be hired by the families that pays premium, you need to act intentionally and structurally. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. You have to operate intentionally and structurally because the family that pays premium, you're not just going to find them anywhere. And even if you find them, if you're not intentional and structured, they're not even going to pay attention to you. They wouldn't want to talk to you. They wouldn't. Okay, so let's move on. So what's the next thing you can do? Just two more secrets, and then I'll wrap this up. The next thing you can do is physically go to where these people are, where the families who pays premium are. They're in your locality, they're in your environment. Trust me, right now, they are there. They are there. You might not know they are, but they are there. So I'll tell you how to find them. The intentional caregiver knows that the best form of marketing or getting clients, the best form of getting clients is through referrals, recommendation. You see, this strategy worked long before there was internet, many decades ago. It still works till now and will forever keep working as long as there's humans on this earth. Referrals, recommendation works powerfully well. It works like magic. As a matter of fact, it does 80% of the work, if not even 90% of the work. So how does it work? How can you implement it? Referrals work, the strategy of referral or recommendation work based on relationship. So you want to ask yourself, who are the people, who are the first point of contact? Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. Let me break this down because I want you to get this. So you ask yourself, who are the clients I want to work with based on my area of specialty? Okay, dementia patients. Okay, beautiful. Dementia patients, where do they take them to? When they have an issue, where do they take dementia patient to? To the hospital, maybe a section in the hospital, right? A special ward or something. So let's assume there's a special ward that we take dementia patients to when they have crisis or something. So what you want to do is this: you want to go to that particular ward in that hospital and build relationship with the nurses and the doctors in that ward. Build relationship with the nurses and doctors in that ward that works directly with this dementia patient. You know why? The reason is because the families of the patient communicate with the doctors. Because the doctors and the nurses are the ones taking care of their patients, their loved one. So, and the doctor is the one who's going to recommend, okay, so this person needs care at home and also and so forth. And the family are going to be like, okay, so we need to find a caregiver. The doctor becomes your referral machine that refers you to the family. Same with the nurses. You use the same strategy for organizations, corporate organizations. Walk into corporate organization, build relationship. See, there is power with building relationship. I know we have social media, the platforms and online. Yeah, that's fine. We've talked about it. But you need to step out of your comfort zone physically and go to these organizations. Oh my God, let me tell you this. There's a particular caregiver. Oh Jesus, I love this. There's a particular caregiver from her home. She took pen and paper and wrote about herself the traditional way. You know how you write letters the traditional way? She did that and walked into an organization and shared it. So she wrote it with pen and paper and then she photocopied it, right? So into several copies and put it into an envelope. She signed it with her name and contact and everything, the traditional way, and walked into an organization, high profile organization, and introduce herself to the receptionist and let the front desk officer knows what she wants to do and who she is and all of that. And she pleaded, please just help me distribute these letters to your colleagues. And she did that. Do you know how many calls came in from just that one act from that organization? She got calls, referrals keep coming in that she couldn't handle. She had too many clients that now she doesn't have enough time to handle, that she had to refer clients to her friends who are also caregivers. We don't think about these things anymore because, internet, social media, all of that. The traditional way still works 100% and it even works more effectively. Step out of your comfort zone. Write a letter. Duplicate it with a photocopy. Put it in an envelope. Walk into an high-profile organization. Talk to the security at the gate. Let me give you a secret. Oh, I love this section. Let me give you a secret. Sometimes you can just tip the security off and just tell them, please just help me hand over this to your colleagues, to the people working here. Or better still, can I approach them myself? And the security, in some cases, it depends. In some cases, the security will tell you, well, okay, this is when they have their break time. You can come in and meet them during their break time. And then you go there, or there's an event in the church or somewhere. Leverage these social gatherings. People will not know about you if you do not introduce yourself. The traditional way still works 100%. You have to be intentional about it. The caregivers who are crushing it will not tell you this. But this is how they are getting paid heavily. And they just keep their mouth shut. Because they are doing the work. You see the success, you want the success, but you don't know the process. And they won't tell you about the process. because that's their secret. It's their secret sauce. Meanwhile, you're out there on Facebook posting every day on Facebook groups. I'm a caregiver, I'm open to work, I'm open to take clients, and you're posting every day and you're out there, you're saying, it's so hard to find clients. It's hard because you're doing it the wrong way. You're doing it the conventional way that every other person are doing it. But the structured, smart, intentional caregiver knows that the thing that is keeping the thing standing is invisible, which is why it's called understanding. They have an understanding, which means that what is standing, there is something invisible that is not seen, that is beneath it, that is keeping it standing. The result that you see is being propelled by an action that you don't see. So the question is not about, is it possible for me to get paid $35 an hour? No. The question is, can I do what will make me get a client that will pay me $35 an hour? Which brings me to the last point. You need to become. You need to become the person that can be paid $35 an hour. And to become that person, you don't need caregiving skill. Yes, it's like making flyers and distributing them, yes. You don't need the caregiving skill because you already have it. You already have the flyer. You already have, flyer. You already have the skill. You're already trained. You already have the experience. So you don't need to know that. You need to know the strategy, the process, the step-by-step deliberate action you need to start taking. You need to become, because it's a principle about life. Watch, the principle is called be, do, have. You want to be paid $20,000. You want to earn $20,000 or $10,000 a month as a private caregiver. It's 100% possible. People are doing it right now. So don't tell me it's not possible, because people are doing it. They might not come out to talk about it, but they are doing it. And some come out to talk about it. So it's not about it's not possible, it's possible. But if you want to have that, then it means that you have to take some certain action, right? Which is the implementation. But for you to be able to take those actions, you have to, first of all, become the person who have the capacity to take those actions. And when you're able to take those actions, it's inevitable you will get the result, because every action produces a result. There's a cause to an effect. For every effect, there is a cause. One of the first law of Newton states that all objects remains at a state of rest until the force is applied. I paraphrase that. All objects remains at a state of rest until the force is applied. What does it mean? It means that if you don't take action, everything would stay the way it is. If you don't do what it's required for the kind of results you want to have, everything stays the way it is. So if you want to achieve a certain kind of result, then you need to take a certain kind of action that produces that result that you want to have. So let me ask you right now, put it in the chat. How much do you want to make as a private caregiver monthly in the next, let's say, realistically, let's say 3 months from now? 3 months from now, how much do you want to be making consistently as a private caregiver? Put it on the chat. I want to see it. This is not manifestation. I mean, I believe in manifestation, but this is not manifestation. We want to get practical here, and this is where we're wrapping up. Put it in the chat. How much you honestly, so 90 days from today, how much do you want to be making monthly as a private caregiver? Put it in the chat. Okay, so let's move on. There's a little delay, so in case you put your answer, but I'm going to say it's still going to come through, but just put it there, right? So 90 days from today, how much you're going to make, you want to start making as a private caregiver. Now, if you want to make that amount that you just put in the chat, then my next question to you is, are you ready to do the work intentionally that would produce that result? because there's a certain action you need to take that will produce that result. Are you ready? Because the truth is this: if you're not willing to do the action, to do the work that will produce that result, then you're not going to get the result. You're not going to get the result. No, you're not going to get the result if you're not willing to do the action. So if you're ready to do the action, to take the action, are you ready to become the person that have the capacity to do the action, to implement the action? Are you ready to become the person? Because you have to be first to become. Become means have capacity, have the mindset, the mental fortitude to think different, to see opportunities where others see problems, to think different from every other caregivers. For example, you probably never thought that you could be paid $35 or $40 an hour by a family. Well, you probably just figured that out, and you practically now see that, oh, okay, yes, they're actually high net worth families, and the places where you can find these high net worth families is on LinkedIn, and they are ready to pay you that. But that requires a mindset shift to be able to think and see things that way. And part of it is being in the association of people who think the same way you're thinking. So that being said, as I wrap this up, if you're truly ready, and this is where I want to make the invitation, if you're truly ready to take action, and this is not for everybody, if you're truly ready to take action, I want to invite you to a 3-day implementation section. It's an implementation for 3 days. Now remember, I talked about you have to do these things, be intentional, be structured, have most of the things we talked about today and even more that I couldn't share with you today. You have to be intentional about how to implement them, execute them, take the action so that you can get the result that you want to get. So if you want to be intentional about it and build what I call your own playbook, your own execution implementation playbook, where it's like your strategy book, step by step. So let me explain it. Your strategy book will contain how to identify the families that you want to work with, right? Yes, we know you want to work with high net worth families, but it's beyond that. High net worth families, why? Is who exactly? What is the description of these high net worth families? What is the problem? What is the value that they're looking for from you as a caregiver? So if you want to break all of this down, right? Who you want to work with, your care promise that we talked about, then how do you put out yourself using your social media profile, right? LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, care.com, and all of those stuff, right? Doing it strategically, not just doing it like every other person is doing it. Because remember, there's a structural way, there's an intentional way to do it. And then number 4, you want to develop your own strategy. You want us to help you develop your own strategy that you can physically use, like the old traditional way. Yes, someone mentioned is like using flyers. Yes, something like that, but not necessarily flyers, so you don't have to spend money printing flyers and all of this stuff. They're simple. There are several ways. What I just mentioned is just one of several ways, right? So you want to have your own strategy on how to do that. And then lastly, you want to be able to get hired. So if you want to do this, so that in the next 30 days, you're guaranteed that you're going to get hired by a family. In the next 30 days, that you're guaranteed that if you take this action, you build this out, and then take the action to implement it, you're going to get hired in the next 30 days by a family. Then I want to invite you to join the 3-day implementation section that we're having. This started on Thursday this week. It's starting Thursday this week. So it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week. And we'll build all of this out. We'll talk about everything I shared here right now. We'll talk about everything out completely 100% in details. So usually this session goes for $497. hold on, 497 US dollars. But because you're in this session right now, and because you stayed here, the second price point we give it is $247, really. So if you go on the link I just shared with you, is on the chat. I just put it on the chat. It's kerlhive.com/higher section. For the next couple of hours, I think next two hours, for the next 2 hours, you would be able to sign up to join that section for only $97. Usually, I'll repeat that. For the next 2 hours only, for the next 2 hours only, if you want to join that section, you can sign up for only $97. So if you go on the page, kerlhive.com/higher section, right? If you go there, you will see two prices. There is the $247 price, and then there's a $97 price. So within the next 2 hours, we will take off. In the next 2 hours, we'll take off the $97 price, and it will be only $247 price that will be there. So my recommendation for you is take the advantage, right? Go there right now, sign up for only $97, and every other onboarding process. Once you pay, you get an email, and the next step, what you need to do, and all of that, what will follow, everything you're getting. The session is going to be live session for 3 days, starting on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then we're going to build this out practically. At the end of the 3 days, what you will have is you will have what we call your strategy playbook, right? Your strategy playbook that you can use to implement to get hired in the next 30 days. Now, again, this is not for everyone, so we don't expect everyone to sign up to join this. It's for only those who want to become intentional and structured, and most especially who wants to be hired by high net worth families. Who wants to be hired by high net worth families in the next 30 days. So think about it. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, what time? So what we do is we don't like to put a specific time and tell you this is the time. What we like to do is by Wednesday, we have like a section, like a WhatsApp discussion, and agree on a specific time that is convenient for everybody, because we don't want anyone to miss the section. So one thing you'll be guaranteed is you would certainly not miss the section. And if for any reason, if for whatever reasons, you miss any of the sections, you will have access to the replay of all sections, and also you have a one-on-one call with me. You have a call with me where you and I would talk, not like via chat, but really like on Zoom. You know, you see my face, I see your face, we communicate. You know, most of that call will be group calls, but you'll be able to ask your questions with me directly, and also to all my other team members. Oh my God, you haven't met Cynthia. Cynthia comes up. Cynthia has about three decades of experience in caregiving. She helps caregivers to get hired by families. Anyway, more about that much later. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, so that's it. You're not going to miss anything. That's a guarantee. If for any reason you're unable to join the live section, maybe on Thursday or on Friday, you will have access to the replay, and also at the weekend you also have a virtual call. The virtual call is inevitable. I mean, you can't miss that, because that will be based on your availability, and then can answer your question, provide further support for you, and most importantly, you will get 30 days access to a free circle. Not circle where you're in right now. No, not the circle where you're in right now. The circle where you're in right now is just for everybody. You know, you want to join the live session, join, right? That's the circle. But this circle, this exclusive circle for the people who join this 3 day section, is for those who are building intentionality as a caregiver, who are becoming intentional and structured as a caregiver, who wants to get hired by premium clients. So it's different from the circle where you're in right now. So we are just launching this out, right? So this is literally the first cohort, right? So which is why we're giving it out for $97. Trust me, it's like almost giving that completely for free. If you were to get the value we're giving out for these 3 days, if you were to get it out somewhere, you probably pay about $2,000 thereabout, right? I'm not even joking about that, because I know, right? But we are launching these out, and we focus on helping people get results, so we can use your testimonies, your testimonials to help other caregivers as well. Because people can really be in doubt. They can really be very, very skeptical and say, is it really possible for me to be paid $30 an hour? Is it possible for someone to pay me $40 an hour? Well, they're going to find out. Right? And we want them to find out from your story. We want them to find out from your story. So we're lowering the barrier. We've lowered the barrier as easy and as simple as possible, which is why we're just asking, just have a skin in the game, $97. As a matter of fact, if you get hired for $30, I think 3 hours as literally 3 or 4 hours as literally paid for the investment of $97 for this 3-day live section. Anyway, so that being said, I want to appreciate everyone who has taken time to join this section. I hope you've gotten some value. I hope it makes some sense to you. If you have any other question, you can go ask if after the section you have questions, please ask in the circle. I will be inside the circle on WhatsApp where you are there to answer your question. But remember that the $97 offer is only for the next 2 hours. So 2 hours from now, the $97 will be off. If you go back to the site, to the link kerlhive.com/higher section, you will not find the $97 price point anymore. It will be gone and to revert back to $247. So I highly recommend, if you really want to be part of that session, then go sign up for $97, and I'll see you. We'll have an amazing time this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. With that being said, thank you for taking my time to join this section. I really hope you've gotten some value. I really hope so. If you didn't get, thank you. Very good presentation. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for the feedback. Anyway, look forward to connecting with you and have an amazing time. Have an amazing afternoon, evening, or night, depending on your location. Cheers.